everybody. Welcome to a Friday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. This is where comedy and sports collide because if you guys know about the show, you know where comics get a chance to talk all about what's going on in the sports world. And we do it with comics who's been in the game for a very long time. And so let's get the show started. First up is my man, Talent. He's been in and around the globe. He's traveled the world. He's done everything you could think of pertaining to comedy, man. Comedy. Talent, what's up, man? How you doing today?
I'm chilling, man. I'm in the dog-eat-dog world right now. You see what I'm saying? Full of love right here. A big fan of the show. This is Shaka Zulu. Big fan of the show.
Okay. All right, Shaka. There you go. Next up is my man, Fig. Fig, how you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Did y'all see that game last night?
Yes, sir.
We're going to talk all about it. We're going to talk about it very shortly. All right, so since you guys are here, we're going to wait for Mr. Rodney Perry. We're going to start the show. We're going to get this thing started. First up, as you guys know, we always talk about the COVID report. We always say what's going down in and around the world. And the latest thing that I heard this morning, which, you know, it seems like I don't never see it reported on ESPN, but they have it posted on NBC site and everything else, is that the Olympics Committee is going over everybody's results overnight and see who's going to be disqualified by this weekend if anybody actually has COVID. So, Talent, we've discussed this before. We discussed it yesterday. I think the Olympic Committee now thinks that they don't trust anybody's COVID report of, you know, who's supposedly qualified for the Olympics. I think they're going to do this with a fine-tooth comb so they don't get caught out there. You know what I mean? And then possibly get sued. But what's your thoughts on this?
Well, you know, in business, man, and this is business. I know it's sports, but it's sports business. You have to cover your behind. You know what I mean? And I think that's what this is for, like you said, you know, because lawsuits and all that can come on these fake things because you're putting other people at risk.
Right.
You know, saying that you're okay, you're negative or whatever. And if you cheated and come back with a positive test, I gotta go into, now you go into contact tracing. God forbid somebody else gets, you know, has it and has underlying health issues. Big lawsuits, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Fig, what's your thoughts?
You know, the funny thing is that, you know, these are world-class athletes, probably the healthiest people on the planet, in our society, if you will. And I don't think people are so much worried about them catching it and, you know, not falling ill, but dying from it. But when these people leave Japan, they're going back to their respective countries and they could possibly be carriers. So this is a big thing. And, you know, we said already, Frank, I don't know why you would let somebody do their own COVID test anyway.
Yeah. I have a problem with that. But you know what? The Olympics Committee seems to be in the news a lot because there's two more things that of course, crossed their desk this morning. The next thing about the Olympic Committee is that they decided that they're going to loosen the ban on protests from certain athletes. Like they had a huge stipulation that you can't do certain things, especially standing on the podium. They still say you can't stand on the podium, but they don't have problems now. The Olympic Committee will not have a problem with an athlete or so wearing a T-shirt or doing something on the field, which I think they're trying to try to take the eye off of them to let people have a discussion about something else other than them. You know what I mean? So what's your thoughts about this town saying that within the last 24 hours, they released a statement saying, if you want to protest for whatever reason, whatever matter, whether it's your sexual preference or whether your color of your skin, they don't have a problem with that. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, that's a backslide for your ass, pause. Yeah, I mean, but it's the right thing to do. We live in this times now, and you can't even say this country because the world is in a climate. And we're living these times where everybody needs to be heard. If we plan on being a better society, a better group of people, we got to listen to each other. Mm-hmm. Good, bad, indifferent, right, wrong, agree, disagree, agree to disagree, whatever the case may be. All protests is people speaking out and standing up for what they believe in. We got to listen to it.
I agree with that one. Fig, what's your thoughts?
I agree with Talent 100%, man. It's I think there was a young lady that already got a little blowback because when they played the national anthem, she didn't, you know, face the anthem and stuff like that. And they were coming up against her. And to tell you the truth, what I really believe is that they were afraid some people were just going to boycott and just not show up behind that. So it seems like they changed their stance. Mm-hmm. That's what I truly believe happened.
Yeah. Rodney Perry, who's joining the show. Roddy Perry, what you think about what the conversation was happening about the Olympics, at least loosening the ban on protesting? Because you can protest now versus, sometimes they were saying you can't protest at all. What's your thoughts on this?
We talked about this, and the reality is that especially those of us that live in America, it's a free country, and that's part of the rights we enjoy. And when you take those rights away from people, they feel some type of way. But I think they're doing the right thing, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people considering not boycotting the Olympics, but just not coming for health reasons, and they don't want to add any other reason for that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I got the next story I'm gonna talk to you guys about is one of the saddest stories, man. And I don't know, man. I've been doing this show for over a year, and I've never been as sad as I've been. I know it's supposed to be a funny show, and I love talking about a funny show, but I was really sad about this story because here's the story. You guys remember 2-3 weeks ago when Sha'Carri Richardson was running, and she was running for the Olympics to qualify. Her mother had died a week before the qualification and everything else, and she was so saddened because she was able to qualify. Her mother died literally the week before. She goes up to the stands. The camera follows her. She hugs her grandmother. Everybody's so happy for her, everything else, because her mother had died, and she's hugging her grandmother, and just you could see how hard it was for her to try to make the Olympics. She finally qualified for the Olympics. News comes down 24 hours ago that she got disqualified from the Olympics because she smoked a joint, which we all know is mostly legal in the state, in almost all the states here. The Olympics is not trying to bend the rules. They are going to disqualify her from making the Olympics. So I'm so saddened to hear this, because we know how hard it is just to make forget about making the Olympics. You know how hard it is just to make a team, but to make the Olympics and make your family proud, bro, I don't know, man. And then to be disqualified for smoking a joint. Talent, talk to me, man. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I shouldn't be so feel so bad.
I don't know. I mean, I think we get caught up in the overall stories when they're touching and moving like this one. But I hate to say it, the rules are in place for a reason. And even though we got cities and states legalizing the use of recreational use of marijuana, it's still not legalized in sports. And just like any other job, when you sign up for that job, you know the criteria, you know the things that are prohibited, and you have to follow suit. As sad as it is, I know sometimes we want to bend the rules for this, but keep in mind, once you bend or break the rules for one, you open yourself up for 100 more.
Yeah, I understand that thought process. I get it. I'm still really saddened to hear this, because I heard this girl's story. I know a lot about this girl's story. I was entertained by hearing, another underdog actually make it. I absolutely love that. But now to be disqualified right when she's at the end, Fig, talk to me.
As a Knicks fan, I'm very familiar with rooting for an underdog. So I was definitely on board. As a matter of fact, Frank, to tell you the truth, I've been talking about this young lady on social media all morning. It just seems like it's extremely harsh. I could see if they caught this young lady taking performance enhancing steroids or something of that nature that would enable her to do better. But for smoking weed or a joint, cannabis, whatever you want to call it, it just seems they're reaching on this one. And I remember Michael Phelps. He didn't really get caught smoking a joint, but he was on video smoking a bong. He lost some endorsements, but I don't remember the Olympic committee suspending him. I don't remember that part.
Interesting. Roddy Perry, what's your thoughts on this? I mean, do you agree with Talent and Fig? What's your thoughts?
I mean, if she didn't know the rules, maybe you feel a little sorry for her. Stephen A says it all the time, man. Let go of the weed, and she does have a heart-wrenching story. She lost her estranged mother, and they were reconnecting, and she had a great story going into the Olympics, and she's knocked down fast. She's crazy fast, and she raised her arm up, with 20 meters to go, and won. The girl is cold. So, I tell my daughters all the time they run track. What you don't know track is absolute, right? So you have your time, and everybody knows your time. Well, you never know when another girl's gonna make a mistake, and this girl made a mistake, and she's opened the window for somebody else to get the gold medal.
Yeah, which Rodney, you said something that's true. She is extremely fast, and she would have shattered records. That's probably the thing that's bothering me the most. She would have shattered records. I was thinking of Flo. Do you remember FloJo? Literally, people were saying she was going to threaten some of FloJo's records.
A lot of comparison of FloJo, the hair, the nails, blah blah blah. Her impassioned speech was amazing.
Yeah,
and the weed, man.
Yeah, that's what it all boils down to. It's the weed. But next thing up, man, I talked about this thing yesterday, man. I was talking about the obviously the NCAA rules and everything else. But within the last 24 hours since we were on the air yesterday, there's a big uproar right now for Reggie Bush to get his Heisman back and for a lot of the rights to be wrong that the NCAA did. Now, I'm going to ask you, Talent, being that the NCAA has now made sure that athletes can profit off this, and what Reggie Bush what he did wouldn't even be a slap on the wrist now since it's legal. Do we go back before this case and reinstate Reggie Bush and give him back his Heisman and every other wrong? Or do we just say from this date forward, hey, this day forward, but from what you guys did in the past, that's the past. You tell me what you think, Talent, about this, bro.
Well, here's the thing. What I think and what technicality is going to happen, I think is going to be from this day forward. Because the technicality is you can't hold them to anything before the new ruling. It's just like anything else. Laws get changed every day. If it was up to me to see it righted, you go back and you correct. Because, it is a wrong. It's been a long time injustice. It's like reparations for the college collegiate athlete. But are they going to do that? Hell no.
Yeah, they definitely not gonna do that. Fig, it's almost like letting all the people out who smoke weed and stuff like that, who's in jail for weed right about now. That's not gonna happen. What's your thoughts?
Oh man, look, it's funny that Talent used that exact word that was on my mind. Reparations. They righted a wrong. People have been talking about it for years and couldn't figure out how to fix it or straighten it out, where the NCAA was taking advantage of these young collegiate athletes by making all the money and not allowing them to make anything for any reason whatsoever. And then to take away this young man's his trophy and all of his records because somebody gave him some money. What did that have to do with his performance on the field? Like, clearly the money didn't help nobody block him. It didn't help him run faster. It's not steroids. It's not anything to enhance his performance on the field, which gave him the ability to win the award. Like God, dog, why is it so hard for people to go back and to do the right thing?
Okay. Rodney Perry, Reggie Bush for USC was one of the best running backs that has ever crossed the field for USC. Like, he is phenomenal. I'm one of the guys who feel that they should give him his Heisman back because that dude was stellar. I mean, but slap on the wrist, I don't know. But a rule is a rule. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know what happened to the Heisman when it goes past. Did it go to the next guy? Do you take it from him to give it to Reggie, or do you make another one? Are there two winners? I don't know the stipulations going into this, but the short answer is, man, get a man the Heisman. It's a trophy, for God's sake. And how about this? He still got the yards. He still did the work, and because of that, and then we look down the line 20 years later, change the rules that affected him anyway. Get a man a trophy.
The funny thing is, even though they took the trophy away, they didn't take the yards away. I mean, it's still up there. It's still somewhere. You know what I mean? Reggie Bush did this. He did that. He did this for USC. He still did it. So you could erase it, but you can't erase people's memories. You know what I mean? That's one thing that you can't do. And all the USC alums, they all got Reggie up there saying, yo, he was the best to ever play the game up here with us, since maybe OJ. But let's move on to the next thing, man, because the next thing was another one of them shake your head moments, man. It's a shake your head moment. Now, I don't know if you guys follow golf. I don't. But Bryson DeCampion, he got into an altercation with his caddy. His caddy's name is Tim Tucker. Word is that they got into a physical fight right before the Rocket Mortgage Classic. happened. What happened last night? And now they've been friends for years, but they got into some kind of argument, and right before they came out, they literally got into some kind of altercation. It sounds like word is that they got literally physical. You know what I mean? So you know how this is your boy. You get mad at your boy, and then he fired his boy. Which word is talent. He fires him and rehires him all the time. They've been together for like 20 years. But when you hear that these two fight, what you think about this?
Like, who's your caddy? Who's your caddy? Who's the caddy? I think it's a hell of a friendship. I love it. I love stuff like this because this would be me. Fig knows one of my best friends, AD. This would be me and AD. Actually, it was me and AD. and he was my road manager. I would fire him, fire him. We'd be fighting, all types of stuff. I think that, and this is why, this is the double-edged sword of hiring your friend. When you hire friends and family, you're going to have this thing, that they always say, don't pee where you eat, don't shat where you eat. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with friends and work. Unless your friend is actually in the same line of business and work, it's never a good idea to do this. These guys, like they said, they do it all the time. I just wish I had the footage. I would love to see this.
Yeah.
Caddy Shaq 3.
Oh, yeah. I wish I had the footage too. Vic, what's your thoughts?
Yo, man, I swear to you, if you just put up two athletes get into a bar fight, the last thing you're gonna think about is golf. You think football, maybe basketball, some baseball players, because baseball, soccer. They have some knockdown dragouts. Hockey, but golf. Oh man, that's crazy. And then they friends. That's the funny part about it. Golf is supposed to be like, golf and tennis is supposed to be, civilized, the upper crust. And they having a bar fight? Oh, that's hilarious to me. I'm telling you something. As soon as we get off the air, I'm going to the Golf Channel. Now I'm interested.
All right, Rodney Perry, what's your thought, man? Two friends actually duking it out, supposedly, right before the match. So what's your thoughts?
Hey man, I mean, we lucky neither one of them had a golf club. You know what I mean? Because that could have got real gangster. I mean, friends fight sometimes. I think Tyler said it best. The people you love the most be the people that catch them hands sometimes, because they can push those buttons. They know what you did in the hotel room in Albuquerque. And,
are you speaking on something? I'm just trying to figure this out.
Never been to Albuquerque, Frank.
Just
anyway,
just check.
They know, your friends know, and they can push your buttons. And And so I wish they had some footage. Do they have footage out there?
I don't know. I would love.
No, there's no footage on that. Here's the question though, Rodney. Talent. Is AD still your road manager? Is he still your manager?
Hell no.
There you go.
He's doing comedy now.
Oh, okay, there you go. See, that's how you find out. You eventually have to find.
You get to a point where it gets to a head. Like, let's, what? Before we not be friends, let's just sever it here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, you do your thing. I'm gonna do my thing. So yeah, that might happen with the golf thing. Yeah. Now here's another story. Right, this one bothered me for a different reason, which is the reason why I'm wearing my Patriots hat. This one bothered me for a different reason. Okay, the Washington football team was fined $10 million. Okay, $10 million to the owner. And the issue is because of sexual harassment and horrible things at the workplace that have gone on for years. They did a calculation this morning on WEEI. I heard it. They did a calculation of it. It was less than 1% of 1% of his money interest that he's worth right now. So it basically wasn't even. It was literally like me giving away a nickel to somebody saying, "Okay, now I'll pay this fine." That's what it basically equates to for Washington football team. Now, the reason why I have an issue with it is because they didn't lose no draft picks, they didn't lose no players, they didn't lose anything. But so basically, talent. I'm gonna say this out there: you can sexually assault women on a football team. You could do all kinds of different things at the workplace and everything else, and you won't lose draft picks. But if you have something to do with deflating a ball, you're gonna lose some draft picks. If you have something to do with filming on the field, you're gonna lose some draft picks. If you have something to do with affecting the game, you're gonna lose some draft picks. But you know what? You go in the back, you can rape a woman, you can touch a woman, you can grab a woman. Don't worry about that part. That's what it equates to me. Everybody has their own different stance, but to me, you could do all kind of things to women and nothing's gonna happen. But don't mess with the game. Don't mess with the owner. That way you're gonna lose draft picks. Women, don't care about that. Tell me I'm wrong, Talent. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. Unfortunately, man, this is one of the sports, bro, that was took forever to first of all involve and include women. That's first of all. So this is just my opinion. Their respect for women has a long way to go and grow. You know, any teams any league or organization that takes this long to put as many women into work, into play of it, it lets you know where they stand. So yeah, you mess with the game, you mess with the team. I'm taking your draft picks. I'm messing your lineup up. I'm pushing your team back. It might take you 4 or 5 years to rebuild, but disrespecting and touching women and assaulting them, well, we do that.
Horrible. Fig, Dan Snyder literally got a slap on the wrist. No big deal though. No big deal. Dan Snyder's worth billions, like at least $6-7 billion. What is $10 million when you make $6-7 billion? It's literally a 1% of 1%. It's peanuts. It's not even the interest on his money, and that was because it's sexual harassment at the workplace. Mm-hmm. So how are you looking at this? Am I wrong?
Well, no. But here's the thing, Frank. I think the way that you're looking at it, socially you're right, but business-wise you're not. When this guy when his organization has been known to sexually harass women, it affects the Washington football team organization. The other stuff that you was talking about affects the whole, like everybody. Everybody is affected by that. So I think that's why they came down so hard on the Patriots for the things that they were doing as opposed to this particular thing, because what happens with Washington doesn't affect everybody else under the NFL shield. I don't like it either. And it seems it's not only in Washington, it's something that's prevalent in our country because, a good majority of this country voted for the president of the United States after he said something alluding to the fact that he had committed sexual assault or harassment on women and said that they would like it. It was so bad that the person he said it to got fired and he got elected president of the United States. That shows you where the mindset we are of America here, is. That's the mindset of America when it comes to sexual assault and women.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that one because that's exactly what happened. Roddy Prey, am I tripping here? Am I tripping? You can sexually assault women and nothing really will happen. You'll get a slap on the wrist. But if you do something towards the game itself, oh no, we can't have that. We can't have that. It's not even close to being fair to me. What you think, Rodney?
Life ain't fair. So here goes. And we have similar unwritten rules in comedy. You don't steal jokes, but you can talk about people's mama, so there's, and then some people you talk about their mama, you get punched in the mouth. So those nuances are also in football. The cardinal thing in football is cheating. So if you're caught cheating, then, or what people perceive as cheating, then you have to pay the piper. The NFL and most professional sports have been boys clubs since their inception. And while we're seeing that thing change, I don't know if it's changing enough for us to really champion women's rights. I mean, it is beginning to change. We're talking about having women coaches and things of that nature. That'll foster some of the change, but the reality is it's still a boys club, and when you're in a boys club, you can throw a woman off a balcony.
All right, but I'm gonna ask you this last question before we talk about the NBA. Talent, how could the NFL expect to expand worldwide and do things and trying to get the women to go into the game, get women to see the game, get women to basically want to participate during the game, get women to do all kinds of things, even in management, even on ownership, on all kinds of different levels, go into the executive field and everything else, when you're still allowing the disrespect and handle to women. How can the NFL owner, Roger Goodell, ownership, and Roger Goodell, the commissioner, allow this to happen and not see that this is a huge conflict of interest? It really baffles me, because I don't think David Stern would have allowed this, in the former NBA commissioner. I don't think the current NBA commissioner would have allowed this. I just don't see it. And let's be honest, the NFL is the largest.
NFL is a bigger boys club, though.
I don't think they care.
That too, but I'm just saying the NFL is maybe the biggest boy club, but the NBA has more interaction throughout the world because it's the sports played all around the world. The NFL is not. They're trying to make sure they can get it to hell. First of all, be played overseas and then be admitted to the Olympics. It's not. Tell me how you get women. Go ahead, Talent. You got the floor.
I don't think they care. That's the difference is caring. You take the same amount of time, take a 5-year span, and look at the integration work that's been done by other leagues, especially the NBA, and you look at the NFL. They don't care. They don't care because they know that the majority of sports watchers and people who spend money on it are from a chauvinistic past and background. So that chauvinistic past and background has always been the breadwinner. Believe it or not, old dudes are the least innovative people. They don't care about what's around the curve or the future. They care about, once they get a steady cash flow, they milk that cow until it tips over in the field, and then they chop it up and eat it. So this is the mindset they're coming from. Where you look across the street to the NBA, they're already progressing. We're going to start a women's league. We're going to start a WNBA. We're going to do this. We're going to attach it to the NBA. We're going to invest in this with monies from this. But that's an innovative, younger train of thought than, like he said, that big boys club. They don't care.
Greg, you agree with that statement he just said?
He's right, man. The NFL, man, when you think about organized sports, the NFL is two things. One, it's the closest thing to a gladiator sport that we still have in modern society, and it's like Neanderthals, man. It's like you know the joke is when you talk about. He used to talk about football players. He said they may be able to play, but they can't talk. They be grunting and carrying on. It's still like cavemen, pretty much. It's the closest thing to cavemen that we have in the modern day when you talk about NFL sports. And I'm not talking about the human beings. I'm talking about the mindset and the thought that they have towards women.
Then Rodney Perry, why did the ownership and why does the NFL allow Roger Goodell to basically be staying up there and look like an idiot then? Why does that happen? You're trying to get worldwide, but on the flip side, this is big news, but you can even notice this, that it's not in the news cycle, especially on ESPN, the way it should be. I mean, they mention it, but they should have all kinds of in-depth reports on this. I don't see anybody talking in-depth about this.
I mean, I don't want to talk about it. I don't care. And I'm trying to care, Frank. I mean, as the father of 5 girls, I'm trying to care about the plight of women. But when I'm watching my football, I don't care. And those of us that are men, this is really our last vestige of sports where we can really not give a damn. And although I don't condone anybody taking advantage of nobody or nothing like that, but when I'm watching football, and don't get me wrong, it's some women out there that don't care either. Mm-hmm. That are football fans. You guys in New England got a great set of female football fans. Pittsburgh, the number 1 female football fans in the NFL. Green Bay, Wisconsin, number 1 number 2 football fans in the NFL. So it's going to take those ladies to say something, I think, and then we can back them up when that happens.
I think Rodney hit the nail on the head with everything, man. Saying at the end of the day, the men just don't care. Let's just call it as it is. All right, the next thing up, man, is Stan Van Gundy came out this morning, last night, whatever, and had a huge statement, which I thought was pretty, remarkable. He said, "Listen, Zion was not behind my exits from the Pelicans. There was the issue between me and the Pelicans. I went one way, they went another. We all know he got fired. We all know that, right? We all know that there was a big reason behind his firing. I'm gonna ask you, Talent. Do you think Zion was behind his firing because the players themselves had a huge issue with Stan Van Gundy? I think Zion was behind it. What do you think?
Well, it's a dead giveaway. When somebody come out and say, this is not the problem, that's the problem. I don't even know why people do that. That is a dead giveaway of like, that guy that jumps out front. I'm not homophobic. He's homophobic.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you make a statement? Things that just are called that for a reason. They just are. If you state something, then maybe it's not that. Because why would you have to state what already is? That's the difference in organic and creating something, trying to, make something up on the spot. I think the fact that he came out and felt it imperative to issue a statement saying, oh, Zion was not behind my fire, then it's something there. Because I know for damn sure I ain't asked him.
Fig, what's your thoughts?
Yo, man, he's absolutely right. The funny thing is that both of y'all said Stan Van Gundy came out. Like, wait, what? What do you mean? But I mean, look, you get the funny thing about the NBA is that the stars are more powerful and more important than the coaches. It just is. I realized that way back in the days of Magic Johnson, when he had a problem with the coach. The coach got fired back then. Dwight Howard, Stan Van Gundy, now Zion Williamson. It's just like, look, if you want to be a coach in the NBA, you have to update your mindset and your thinking as far as these players go, because it's not like it used to be. This is not the old boys club of the NFL. The NBA players have power, and you just can't say and treat them any kind of way as though you're a high school or college coach. These guys are brands, and they're multi-millionaires, and they deserve a certain amount of respect. You can't talk to them. And if you're a star in this league, the coach better make friends with the star. And if not, you're going to be out.
Okay. Rodney Prey, what's your thoughts on this?
I didn't like it when he got hired. So good riddance. Get on out here, Van Gundy. I mean, here's the long and the short of it is you got to win games, man. And you go down there, you got the number one NBA prospect on your squad, and you still struggle to win games. If he'd have made it to the playoffs, he'd still have a job. And so that leaves a job open for somebody else. Who will it be? Will it be the young lady? Will it be one of our black coaches, or will they dig up another old white man?
Well, I know one thing, that the way that these guys are coaching ain't working no more. You can't yell at these boys the way you used to be able to yell at them and all that. They all babied now by the time they get to the league. You can't do that. That old mentality of coaching don't work. Speaking of coaching, speaking of games, we got to talk about the game last night, man. Ultimately the Bucks played the Hawks last night. Talent. The Bucks blew out the Hawks. I think that's the headline. I don't think there's anything more. Once Giannis went out of the game, I think the Bucks started to use their big men. Once Giannis was gone, which didn't make no sense to me why they waited so late. But I don't know. What's your thoughts about after you saw the game last night? And it looked like a little bit closer here and there, but it seemed more like a blowout too. I mean, it wasn't even close to a lot of aspects. What's your thoughts?
Well, a lot of times, as we've seen, like you said, they decided to use their big men, which why wouldn't they have been doing that all along, right? But I believe that a lot of coaches have a problem with several big men. They don't know how to play them together. Coaches, are one-dimensional sometimes, where they know how to use a big man and the big man essence. But what happens when you got four of them? You got 4 7-footers, and then you get a superstar like the Greek Freak, who kind of makes everybody play that back seat. So they on the bench, they there. And last night's game showed you what's there that you haven't been privy to see thus far because of limited minutes or substitutions or just not knowing how to play more than 1 or 2 at a time at the same time on the floor. But I said this, man, that's how you tell a team. If both of our primary people are out, you lose your star, I lose my star, then we see what we got.
Okay. Fig, what's your thoughts?
I think I've been saying this for a while on the show, man. It's just that, with Giannis out, you finally had to play an old school style of basketball. You had to feed the big man in the paint, and he dominated. That's what 7-footers do. I'm sorry. I've been saying this for the longest. Why is a dude that's 7'1", almost 300 pounds, shooting 3-pointers? He shot 90, I believe it was 93% from the paint yesterday. I don't know anybody, the greatest 3-point shooter on the planet to ever lace him up, has never even shot 60% from 3. So if you can shoot 90% from in the paint, why would you ever take a 3? And you're 7'1", almost 300 pounds, and nobody can stop you.
Preach
It
on,
doesn't
player.
make sense. It's stupid. It's
Preach
stupid basketball. They just dominated because you couldn't stop Lopez. Period. You couldn't stop him.
Yeah, Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts?
Okay, Fig. I guess we're gonna get this speech every day. Look, man, these two big boys is shooting, man. I don't like it either, but it is what it is. A guy like Giannis is not going to back people down. I mean, he might 1 or 2 times a game, but we can talk about these guys till we blue in the face. Brook Lopez did what he does, and like you say, he plays. This is his style of game. Nobody even expected that out of him. He was blocking shots, 33 points, man. The guy played a stellar game. He showed up, and I don't know. It was more remarkable to me that he showed up because he, I mean, it might be a career high for him. And, careers are made in moments, man. He had his moment last night. He did his thug thizzle, whether he did it as a center or a point guard. Brook Lopez don't really had a 3. But I bet if he had it, he'd shoot that mug.
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody want that glory, man. Everybody wants to see that ball go in the hole. A lot of them played, the sandlot ball. They want to yell out, Steph Curry or whatever. And the game is changing, guys. So we either, be really frustrated or stop watching.
And I want to talk about this last subject before we do our top dogs, man. We all know that Chris Paul is the man. We all know that Chris Paul is the beast. We've seen what he's done the last 2 teams he's been on. Chris Paul's about to be a free agent this summer. Soon as that buzzer goes off, whether in his last game, whether they lose or win the NBA championship, because he's in the finals, no matter what happens, the minute that happens, he becomes an automatically unrestricted free agent. They polled 100 sports reporters last night. And out of 100 sports reporters, 85 of them think he's going to the New York Knicks next. So, Talent, do you see Chris Paul going to the New York Knicks? Do you see him going to do that? What's your thoughts on that, Talent?
No, that would shock the hell out of me. Because I'm looking at it like this: you get your first chip. I'm just looking optimistic. You get your first chip with Phoenix Suns. Why wouldn't you stay with a championship pedigree team now? Like you already prove it. You know this is a championship team. You wouldn't go to try to get another one. Everybody tries to get that second one once you get the first one, as long as the team doesn't get broken up. I don't see him leaving. To me, that would be crazy. Even if I had to take a little less money to try one season, I can't see him leaving.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing. I don't see why the sports reporters pick him all going to New York. But I think, honestly, it's because, again, it has something to do with the NBA ownership and the NBA itself as a commission wanting him to go to New York because it's a major market. Phoenix is not. That's what I think they're trying to do. But what you think, Fig?
My first inclination was the same as Talent. Like, hell no. And then I thought about, this is something typical of going back to the playbook of what the Knicks do. They take an older player, give him a boatload of money. He plays for a year or 2, and then he retires, and they have to pay him the rest of that contract because it's a contract. But then I started thinking about it another way. Chris Paul, every team that Chris Paul has gone to has gotten better. Every single one, from the Clippers to when he was in Houston to OKC, and now he's on the cusp of a championship in Phoenix. Every single team that Chris Paul joins gets better. So if he could come to the Knicks and make those young players better, kudos. I'd love to have a veteran. I'm a fan of veterans in the locker room and on the floor. He's a floor general. He's a veteran. If that's what they want to do, I'd love to have him.
Okay. Rodney Perry, do you see Chris Paul leaving Phoenix Suns, or you see him running it back, even though the NBA may be forcing him to go to the New York Knicks? What do you think?
Hey, man, you know, you start getting to your latter part of your career. You're looking for that last payday. I think Chris Paul goes wherever the biggest check is. I mean, he got the job done in Phoenix with that young group. He's not going to get another chip out there. He probably, if he's pragmatic and he's really looking at himself and he's honest about where he stands, he's going to go get him one more big-ass payday and go sit down somewhere.
Yeah. That makes
he don't need it. The man owns a state and a farm.
You walked into that one.
You know that has enough money.
You walked into that one. You definitely walked out. All right, Chris, you ready for the top dogs, bro? Let's get ready to rock out the top dogs. So
yeah, man, let's get it. Yo, man, this is the top dog of the week, ladies and gentlemen. This is a beauty. I'm trying to tell you, it's gonna be lovely. 5 top dogs of the week. Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, I got to give it to that boy right before he got hurt. Giannis, the Greek freak. Antetokounmpo, 33 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Dominated the Hawks 113-102. Another guy, he's actually on vacation right now, but he was dope when he was in. PG-13, man, without Kawhi Leonard, the number 1 player on the Clippers, dropped 41 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists in 41 minutes, keeping the Clippers' hopes alive in Game 5, beating the Suns 116-102. My man, Joe Ohtani, pitching a 2.58 ERA. He's also leading Major League Baseball, all of Major League Baseball, in the home run chase by hitting 28 home runs this baseball season. And he's a pitcher. Give it to my boy, Show Ohtani. He's a dog. Oh. Number 4 on my list, we just talked about this dude, possibly a Knick next year. CP3, baby. Chris Paul putting on a show in a closeout game on the road, beating the team he once played for, the Clippers. 41 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. Suns over the Clippers, 130-103. Did I say it was a blowout? Damn, Chris Paul. Dog. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, played last night, did the damn thing, finally stepped up and played the position he was born to play at 7 feet, almost 300 pounds. Brook Lopez, 33.7 rebounds, 0 assists, but he dominated the game in the paint, Game 5, leading the Bucks over the Hawks 123-112. Who ever thought a 7-footer could score in the paint?
Interesting. Okay. That's the top dogs. Righty. Let's see. Interesting. Talent. I'm gonna do one of these blink blinks and tell me what you think. What you think I think about the top dogs?
You don't like it?
It's okay. There was a couple, a couple other people who did.
He always starts off. It was okay. It was cute.
The thing is, everybody who's on his list should have made his list.
Right.
I'm gonna have to give Fake the call after the show saying, Fake, can we get some other players in there besides all NBA players? I know you threw in one baseball player and 4 NBA players.
Hey, but listen, there's no other team that's in the throes of the playoffs or championship run. This is the highest level that you can play. So I gotta give it. These guys are showing up on the biggest stage.
I love how you put all that work in, Fig. You put all that work in every week, and Frank has got school teacher to go. It was cute.
It was nice. But what about this dude that has a mean rub for his barbecue ribs? I'm like,
That's hilarious. All right, I'm gonna keep this show moving on because we ain't talking about the NFL in a minute. And here's the next thing I want to talk about. I don't know if you guys have paid attention, but Davante Adams, right? He has been slowly and quietly, under the radar and everything else. But his agent has been pushing for him to get an extension. His agent's talking about what's going on with our extension talks. And then the Green Bay Packers have been saying, yeah, it's coming. We're gonna do that and everything else. But you know what Davante Adams is doing? He's talking to Aaron Rodgers, find out what Aaron Rodgers is going to do before he signs that extension. So my question to you is, Talon, is should he sign an extension or should he wait and see what Aaron Rodgers does and says, you know what, we're gonna let's see where the ball goes. What you think?
Wait. You always got to play, the odds. If you know your payout or it makes more sense with him there, then you wait. If you're willing to play with, because let's keep it real, there's a high possibility, A-Rod goes somewhere else, bro. So if it's your point is to play with him for whatever reason, the best chance to win a chip, most competitive, you just like to play, you just like the guy, whatever, you wait.
Mm-hmm.
If it don't matter, you just sign. Like, to me, when grown men get that camaraderie going, that's something that's hard to get, especially in football. Like football, they go where the check go. 9 times out of 10. So if he feels that connection with him, hang in there, bro.
Not to mention a quarterback and a wide receiver on the same page, that don't happen a lot. And when that happens really good, you don't want to disrupt that too either. So, Fig, what's your thoughts?
Hey, man, he's absolutely right, man, because the NFL career is probably one of the shortest careers that you could play, like as a professional athlete. And he was like, he was like, Derek Carr looks nice. He said, I wonder what they doing over there. Where's Derek? Derek Carr, like we was in college together. He was a nice quarterback. We was friends and everything. So if Green Bay don't want to act right, I got another option. I'm just saying.
I'm 100% sure if Davante Adams saw that you talked about him like that, he'd hunt you down. He would hunt you down and find out and even get your what's his ISP address. I'm gonna hunt that nigga.
Fig did that pretty good. What they giving Derek?
Derek Carr. I like Derek Carr. He got a nice vehicle.
Yeah, I don't think that would fly. Rodney Perry, what you think? Can't hear you, Rodney Perry.
Can't hear you, Rod.
Can't hear you.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
And he's still talking to the thing.
There you go.
Dave.
Nah, I said this what got me. Brilliant, Mr. Big, brilliant. Yeah, I don't have nothing to say.
So you don't think Aaron Rodgers would have nothing to say with Davante Adams being able to do? Okay.
No. I didn't hear the question.
Oh, the question was, do you think that Davante Adams is going to sign the extension, or do you think Davante Adams is going to wait out and see what happens to Aaron Rodgers and then follow him wherever he goes?
I mean, it would behoove him to wait, but the reality is, I mean, he a grown man. He got to take care of his own family. He got to secure his own bag. There is no guarantee that he's gonna get to go with Aaron Rodgers. Depending on what situation Aaron Rodgers go to. So I would. And how about this? How about Green Bay might not want to give him up? They don't have to give him up.
Right.
So he better sign. He better sign your deal.
Yeah, but let's also not forget either. When you have a quarterback that's throwing you the ball, your stats get up, your money goes up. If you ain't got a good quarterback to throw you the ball, your stats don't go up and your money don't go up.
No, I understood. But what I'm saying is that like Aaron Rodgers, wherever he go is locked in for him.
Right.
It might not be no more money left for a primetime receiver like him.
That's very true.
That's aging as well.
That's
this
true.
This is last year on his deal, though. I think, y'all. I think this Davante Adams, this year coming up this is his last year on his deal.
Yeah, it's coming up. This upcoming year. This upcoming season. All right, let me just say this. We're getting ready to roll up out of here, but before we do, because it's July 4th weekend, we're not going to be here on Monday. But Talent, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, get those tickets and all that.
I need everybody to hit me up. Email me first and foremost. Talent. My name, talent@issuescomedy.com is the email. Talent@issuescomedy.com. email me because July 30th, 31st, and the 1st of August, that weekend's going to be stupendous. And the beautiful Atlantic City Claridge Hotel and Bally's Casino. We want you there checking out free nights of comedy, day parties, karaoke, giveaways, all types of vendors, and live performances and DJs. Be in the building. Hit me on my Instagram and check out the information there if you need to see it flyer-wise. My Instagram talent, the comedian. Boom.
Big.
That's gonna be dope, man. Talent said it's gonna be some parties. I like parties. Yo, you can follow your boy Comedian Fig on social media platforms at Comedian Fig and the Box Seats Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Best damn sports show on TV. Rodney will tell you. Tell him, Rodney.
That's a fact. Hey, it's your boy Rodney Perry. RodneyPerry.com is the website. Rodney Perry live on all social media. And thanks for the follow, guys. I appreciate it.
And it looks like Trevor Bauer just got placed on a 7-day leave by Major League Baseball for strangling his girlfriend. We talked about him a couple days ago. We're gonna have to finish that conversation about talking about Trevor Bauer. But
you need not to talk to him like that.
That's probably what it is. Don't forget, y'all, we're not gonna be here on Monday, but I want to thank
joking, ladies.
Every each one of you all for watching the show. On everybody out there, have a safe 4th of July weekend, because you know how it is. This is the first 4th of July. People getting out in a minute. So y'all need to be safe. That's Rodney Perry. That's Fig. That's Talent. You guys, I want you guys to have a safe 4th of July weekend too. You know, obviously we're gonna come back and do the same thing. And then Talent, I'm gonna be living through your exploits because now it is for single people 4th of July weekend.
I'm gonna be wilding out this weekend. I'm going to a crazy cookout.
That's why
Bill Cosby and O.J. Simpson throwing a cookout.
Wow.
and for all you ladies out there, be careful when you tell your man to choke you, because he might do it.
Hey, Talent, be ready for I want this report just like this. All right, y'all, that's it, man. We'll see y'all Tuesday. Of course, it's the Box Seats of the show. I'm Frank Holder. We're on the Humor Mill channel. We'll see y'all Tuesday. Take care. Peace.